Start. Okay. Hey, it's NK here with more Persona 5 Strikers. If I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna start on the bosses here, but I'm gonna go over different things that I feel are interesting to me. In the last one, we did a bunch of stuff only related to the tree of knowledge. We did 2 battles, and we looked around for the other things. Each boss has its own uniqueness. It doesn't exactly follow, but it has the range of how it works. Again, this is all the same, but it'll say enter battle EX if you're doing the plus. But you have to equip it first in order to get there. Now, I'm surprised this didn't happen yet, but I swear there's a painful pass for plus for Demiurge as well that was supposed to show up. But I guess it doesn't happen until I actually beat the plus version of these 3. Yep, she did. It really is Alice in Wonderland. Anyways, okay. Hey, okay, so in the last episode, I was talking about party members and how they have grown and how they're related to the story and whatnot, but I was missing one. I was missing Sophia, who's one of our starters in this game. So, of course, Sophia wasn't in the last game, so I couldn't compare of how they've grown and how their confidant relates and whatnot. However, if Sophia did have a confidant, I have to wonder what kind of tarot category she would be. Like, is she a new one specifically? I guess companion could be... Actually, I would imagine it being called companion or something like that. Like, or assistant or something. She is a wonderful assistant. And she proves to be useful by taking advice and listening. So she starts the story a bit robotic than you think. A bit more robotic than you think. And she listens and listens and actually tries to understand. She asks questions. She seems to get it a little bit. It just takes a bit of time for her. And it would make sense with most AI. Most AI do take a while to learn things. And it depends on the progress sometimes, but it could be pretty quick. It just always takes a while. She starts off with Pithos, which is a bunch of boxes that like fly around her essentially. She does that as a copy though, so I'm not sure if that's actually her true persona, because usually you do hear the awakening and then you take off your mask. But in this instance, she just copies so she could feel included, and then she gets it. Even if Pithos isn't her true persona, it is a nice starter to have. And then we get into Pandora. It makes sense for her to have Pandora because Pandora is a box that you don't know what's going to happen when you open it and what you unleash. And it kind of relates to today's world for AI. It's hard to tell what we're going to have in terms of AI. Like, we can see all kinds of things AI is doing right now. It can replicate voices and art. It can try to generate a story. Most of it has some problems trying to do everything correctly that a human can do, but it could eventually get there, but it's how much we can let it get there. How much do we open this box? Is it a little peek or is it a full-on open? But usually, once you open it, there's no turning back. But not to be a doomsayer. It's just one of those things that it's hard to avoid doing. Sophia is quite amazing though, because once she opens up her and believes in a heart, she goes against her master. You can tell that she is genuine, and it's hard to say that when it's hard to say that because you know in your heart she is an AI, she is a robot, She isn't meant to harm. She is doing what most of the robotic laws are, which is don't harm a human, allow no harm to come to a human. If you have to sacrifice yourself, then you would, because you are not allowed to have harm to a master, even if a master is harsh. With Ichinose, it was like hard for her. She accepted her pretty easily, partially because of the laws of robotics and partially because of how it works, how she learned to be more compassionate. Like, she changed to heart. There we go. There's Alice down.
It's done.
You know what I could talk about? Oh, Impus Corsage. I wonder what that is.
Okay.
Thor learned a new skill, Electric Amp. I'm not going to use Mapsia because again, I'm going against bosses. For the most part, for the rest on. So doing that gets the Naraka Whip. And the Naraka Whip, Naraka for on. Versus the Bone Eater, another 30. But you get SP. Better. Definitely better. Alright. Our next request is to do Ongo, not Sume. Oh, wait, hold up. Doing Alice again on Plus gives us 21,000 yen. So, that's if you want to. I don't recommend it though. There's better ways to make money. Alright, let's go with Sendai. Next.
Let's do it.
Do him in order, you know. You know, he can't make one of those stands himself, but it would be cool. It would be cool if we saw more of those around here. So now we move on to different things that we can talk about. And one of the things that I thought of was how a jail and a palace could be different, yet actually very similar in sort of the same way. So when we run around in Persona 5 Strikers, all the item boxes are the same. They're basically a jailed desire. Because even when you go after the desires in this game, I say that as in the side quest desires, they're shown as a boxed up glowy thing. So, well, okay, so we can imagine the glowy thing is actually probably a jewel, or what's supposed to be a jewel, but you probably, I don't know if they like do something different in the model. I don't know what one looks up close, what one up close looks like, but maybe it's slightly different. It definitely is programmed in to only show up in that one spot when you take the thing, and then when you finish it, you can't make it appear again. But the other things that you can find in the game, like dirty phone case, rescue necklace, cute wallet, those are all things that you find in the game that have a little bit of worth. And I like to think of them as like, even though they're cruddy, they're somewhat desirable. They're somewhat treasure-like. So like, it makes it very thematic. And in the first game, all the treasures are mostly hidden in the vases or the pots and whatnot around the palaces. So when you think about those, they don't really show what it looks like, so it's like a hidden kind of treasure, but some of those are a little bit more personalized, more crappier, like the crappy portrait would make sense to Madarame. Maybe Madarame actually likes it in his point of view, but to us we see a crappy portrait, but someone else could also like it enough to maybe restore it. I feel like EY buys them and gives it to some shop that actually restores it, kind of like the Kichijoji laundry that you can do with them. Like, you give them your dirty laundry and then they give you good armor if you pick the grab box with their point system. So maybe EY has something with that. I know they have the smoked cigar in one of the palaces as an item that you can pick up and sell, and I'm like, how beyond me you could get a smoked cigar to do anything like that. Good for them, not for us. I don't care about the smoked cigar. Anyways, so when you go into mementos, however, you do see the asset of what this game uses as all of its items, regardless of where it is. It's a box with a glowing track thing, and I'm almost theorizing that this mementos had desires as well, especially since some of the stuff in those desires are very valuable. You can find diamonds, platinum, other kinds of stuff that is very, very valuable in mementos specifically. Like, mementos tends to get you a lot of money when you sell everything out of it, I noticed. So perhaps maybe it is representative of a desire that, and it would make sense too, because in mementos the people gave up their will to a god in a way, just like in this game. They gave up their will to a god to try to live in a peaceful rule, and Shido was the assistant of that, sort of, even though the god didn't really possess him. Like, all the palace rulers kept in place were essentially part of the plan. It's really weird how it could work out like that, just by the basis of the look of the item. And a lot of the stuff gets better in each palace too, so more people have different desires within the higher-ups just because they have more powers. So we start with Kawashita. Kawashita didn't really have a lot of good things in his palace, but then you get to like Kanashiro's palace, and Kanashiro has a little bit more power. He has money, so to speak. And then Koura's palace especially had a lot more valuable stuff too, and the most valuable was Shido, of course. I would like to think that maybe it's because we have these desires, like, when we have these desires of items and stuff, even though they may seem like trash, one man's trash is another man's treasure, so you usually, like, you keep defending a desire of that sort, and it's definitely just interesting to think about. That would be it. That was pretty much it for the item boxes. It's only a theory, but I feel like the item boxes that have a glowy thing do represent desires in both games, even if it's not explicit in Royale / the vanilla Persona 5. Alright. We're just about done with this dragon here.
The great overlord defeated. Nice work.
A burst emblem. The Impus Corsage. Ailments cause SP drain. Drains SP when inflicting an ailment on a foe. And down gauge on a critical. This would sound really good on Fox, actually. Regardless. Because he usually gets critical, so like, I guess. And then this one is good on Haru or on, depending on who you decide to use as your ailments. But even burn is an ailment or something, I think. So drains SP from the enemy. Kind of interesting. From viewing this request, we could get Sumidori, which is for Fox himself. Another increase, and you get Fear Medium. Not bad. This is so silly.
Be born anew.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Oh no. I was trying to make personas and I'm trying to level up a Jack Frost by making the cheaper personas that I can like grind into it because I have money, and now this happened. What do I get? I was trying to make a trumpeter to grind into stuff. Oh dear. I've made a Yatagaratsu.
This was different than expected.
Fusion accidents. During the persona fusion, there's a rare chance of fusing a different persona than the one that was expected. Personas burned for fusion accidents are more likely to receive stat bonuses, so they may start out fairly strong. This guy is actually probably gonna... Hang on. I'm gonna record that one, just because
Take a look.
I have never seen that before.
Honest.
They're all in the way. Alright, as we're fighting Mariko Hiroto, I have another topic that I thought of that we could talk about. So in the ending of both Persona 5 games, the thieves go away and separate, but they still remain friends, of course. It seems implied that between the first 5 and Strikers, that they do talk to each other outside of battles. Alright, outside of battles. Outside of school, or like, you know, after school, maybe some chats. Well, maybe between some of them, like On and Ryuji for sure, like maybe they would text each other about how classes are going, what the answer to the test was, or whatever. Whatever it is that they have going on. Maybe even Futaba is a little involved. But it seemed like Ren didn't catch up a lot, but it's also hectic with the way things are going and whatnot. But for sure they met up again. But in this ending of Strikers, they definitely promised to meet up again once again and go their separate ways. So I feel like it's a little bit of a longer separation, but they seem likely, to me at least, that they would meet up again. Maybe not necessarily under the circumstances, though, of being a Phantom Thief again. Like, it's harder as... They would definitely have some sort of cool party for after graduation for Ryuji, On, and Yusuke, as well as Joker. Like, they would all have some sort of big graduation party, because that's a lot of people graduating at once out of the group. I'm sure there was something that... I know for sure, if you've gotten the not reality ending in Persona 5 Royale, you could see that they did something for Haru and Makoto during their graduation, so I suspect there would be another party. Maybe even 2 parties within the next 2 years for Futaba graduating as well. So anyways, they definitely seem like they would meet up every once in a while, and then their lives would intertwine with each other and stuff. So I think they can meet up. Now, as for whether or not they keep their personas as adults, is unsure. It would depend on how cruel reality would get through the years if another god decides to invade and whatnot. It seems like if you take the fact that 2 gods actually, even if you include Royale's ending and stuff, 3 gods actually, maybe 4. There's too many gods if you think about Tactica as well. Although Tactica's a different story for me. I have played through it. I don't mind it. I do have a lot of... I don't like it as much as the other ones, and to me it's because of I don't really like one of the characters, and he's a major part of the story, so the fact that that happened is not great. But, well, I don't know if I'm going to do a video essay over it or not. I definitely don't want to do it as a Let's Play. I think it would be too cruel of me to do it as a Let's Play because a lot of the gameplay is very repetitive. There's literally only one type of thing that you do in that game, and that's place people, watch how it plays, and then place people again and see how it, if you can win or not. And I don't think that type of gameplay is very entertaining compared to Strikers. Yeah. Anyways, but considering that a god has appeared more times exponentially in the Persona series since for 5, definitely some things could happen with, okay, I know I said that they probably wouldn't meet again under the circumstances of being Phantom Thieves, but they could at least, they don't have to be thieves to use their powers, I feel. Like, it's possible that they could just wield the power if there is a god in danger. It only depends if Lavenza comes and tells at least Ren something. It could also be like you do grow out of it and a new hero has to arise too. Not sure if there is a Persona 6, but if there is, it might override the powers of 5s, because you definitely don't see that happening with how, like, if you think about Persona 4 and Persona 3, they do come back sometimes with their powers, but it's not super much as how much 5 had to do, so I think it depends on the new raid of heroes, and if the gods get bored of it or not. Mariko is shaking there in the weirdest way possible. Anyways, so, and if the thieves do meet again, for sure it's for friendship, and they go through, maybe they do another road trip through Japan. They could go beyond as well, and that would be actually cool to see too, but, as far as defeating gods, I think they are done with that type of business. Oh, thank goodness, before she ate me.
What kind of monster? There, all set.
Alright, Grand Crystal for that.
Now I'm even more dependable.
Ooh. That was better than Samakar, right? Alright, turning this in gets us a Fleurs de Mal S, which is something for not Oracle. Who was I just playing again just now? Haru, of course. Alright. Haru, you're going to get the Fleurs de Mal, which is a +5 magic. And it was the Grand Crystal. Chance of a skill costing 0. Ooh, yes. Okay, that has to go at least on Joker. I think that is the best thing you could put on Joker, because it could be anything that you want. And if we look at the requests, we got Akira Kanoe plus and Demiurge plus, of course. We have to do both of these. Doing the pluses on Ongo, 22,000. Mariko, 23,000. And now we're doing the Akira Kanoe fight. And while we're doing that, we can go over the music of Persona 5 Strikers. Of course, there's some familiar songs that have made its way from Persona 5, and some of it from also other Persona games. Development Room theme, some of the music where it, some of it is silly, the silly music, or sometimes the like detective theme music, where it was going on. They did a remake of Rivers in a Desert, the boss theme for Shido and a lot of the other final bosses in the main game. But in this game, we hear it only once, and thank goodness they decided to do different boss themes. It would have sucked if you just... I don't mind Rivers in a Desert. It is a good song, but sometimes hearing that over and over for each boss kind of makes it different. Um, in this game, they definitely change. I like the change in phase music got a lot more actually. They did it both for Acura and Demiurge. Um, so they definitely have a couple of familiarities and some similars, but I would also like to talk about this game's main theme. So the first song that you hear is the opening. It is "You Are Stronger." Um, so the lyrics to that actually, I do talk about the Phantom Thieves. Over time, they erode and destroy hearts of good souls as the dark filled with dismay. Played along, fake too much, all the way through. So, the gods have come and down and did that thing where they erode the good souls. And then we had to fake our way. The thieves had to fake their way through. They were full of dismay. They faked their way through. I did mention that it was a good TV show theme, so like it actually makes it even better knowing that they kind of make it a little bit based on the Phantom Thieves. Toughest person to break out is in your mind. Take my hand and join the team. So they had Sophia join the team and Zenkichi joined the team. They had to break out of their Zenkichi at least had to break out of his own mind to he's like, okay, well, I know that I've been suffering for a little bit to society. I might as well break out and join in. And they rise up to go against God that is causing all of this, even though they weren't aware that it was a God in the first place that did that. And they are stronger. The thieves do start out, they are stronger than they were a bit, even if they are showing only the first tier personas, they show a bit of that. And then you get to Counter-Strike. So Counter-Strike is the song that plays when you're facing Kanoe in the sword fight phase. So I like to think of this as like a good taunt song because it's give it your all, you come a long way, but let me just say faking is not good enough, so Counter-Strike. So the thieves are like taunting him to do his best because we're stronger than him, and it kind of reminds me of how Last Surprise actually works a little bit. Last Surprise had us thinking 2 steps ahead of the enemy, although sometimes it got turned around on me when I was playing some of those battles in Persona 5 Royale. But it is such a good song. I would definitely recommend listening to it. I didn't have Counter-Strike, and I'm thinking of getting Counter-Strike into my iTunes. I didn't have it before. I'm not sure why I didn't like it, but this game made me like it even more playing it again, even though YouTube did not like me having to listen to it. How do you like it now, though? It's 3 times speed up here. Kind of sounds weird though when it's sped up.
No, I can't lose. Not now. Mission complete.
Panacea Terra. Oh, Dominion has got a new skill. Combo boost. Ooh. Tempting, but no. I mean, I could always relearn it. If we go to equipment and check out that we just got. Electric damage up. It was once wielded by a god. He can now wield Thor's stuff. Also, Tiara. Panacea Tiara resisted to elements. That could also be good if you risk burn-in. I noticed that Mona tends to like get burned a lot, so I think that would go on the tiara would go on him. All right, now that we're fighting Demiurge, I guess we could talk about this part of this. Okay, so now that we know the whole story and that it's kind of like a repeat of Persona 5 in general, where you have to go kill a god in the end. There is one. Well, okay. So I guess I could talk about a couple things. So, a lot of the similarities to Persona 5 make its comeback. So you do fight a god in the end. There isn't really a trait. Well, okay. So there is a traitor, but it's not. I don't feel like this traitor is similar to Akechi at all, because Akechi was definitely controlled and, well, okay, controlled and blinded by his own vengeance. Ichinose isn't necessarily blinded by anything. She was actually hidden to me. I did not expect her to be a villain at all when I played this game the first time. But I did find it weird that she took notice in us and kept barging in with the fact that we had a cat in the area. And I'm not even sure if I believe her as a strong, as she said that she had been there on a bit of an not an accident. It's more on purpose, she said. So I found that kind of strange for the most part, but you know what? I'll take it. So Ichinose, I don't think she's really much of a traitor like how Akechi is. Yeah, she's a traitor because she never said anything explicit on how she created Emma. I mean, it could have been more obvious that she did create Emma. She admits that, but she did like, she's like, oh, well, maybe they did something to Emma to be more exactly like how Emma turned out to be. The fact that she created Emma and Emma figured out how to use the metaverse is probably the thing that definitely makes it weird for this game to say that Ichinose is a traitor, because I'm not sure how she could have really predicted that. She could have literally just wiped her hands clean and started creating a different AI, because she's an AI creator. She created Sophia and she created Emma. But for the most part, this game does follow it to a T with different things of trying to follow the story parallels. So, with that being said about the traders, we could say that the endings are similar, but how do we get, with the ending of Royale, actually connect to this? I feel like it can, even though you see, if you get to see Maruki, even though Maruki was driving, and you do see passings of people while they go off into the sunset. So at the end of Vanilla, they go off into the sunset while trying to take Joker home, and they kind of have one last free getaway before probably eventually having to like separate ways because they have to drop Joker off the train station. When Joker gets into the taxi with Maruki driving, it has a slightly different feel for the Persona 5 ending, but for the most part, it's pretty similar enough. Even though everyone's in passing, and it's only similar enough that they do come back together. They do have a different pathing than they wanted to do for their futures. Like, everyone had a future, and it's very implicative that their future was to be positive, you could stay friends, but also have a goal in mind. In Persona 5 Vanilla, they did have a goal in mind specified for each party member. I felt like they built upon it when they changed it for Royale. When you have Maruki, he starts over on himself. Subi is still doing her dream, but continuing her dream on her own merit. We have, it's presumed that, the other party members, so, Ryuji, Haru, they all follow their dreams. They may have taken a slight different path. Makoto and Haru having college it makes sense for their paths of becoming a police commissioner and doing business. Like, you do need to learn more complex skills to get to that point. Ryuji wants to get better, and he doesn't necessarily seem to move right away, probably because of finances or something, I would imagine. But, like, it feels like it makes sense to have, like, even if it's a divot, you do come back, and you do need a break sometimes as you're trying to travel toward your goal. So to me, Strikers is their break in trying to achieve their goals, and they can still meet up and whatnot. Because you do have to have a meetup, a chat. Maybe it helps a lot when it comes to I think it helps a lot to be able to connect to somebody and have a different perspective, and that's what they're there for each other for, in a way, if they need a different perspective, or if they just need somebody to stay with them, you know? I would think that they would do that for themselves in the Strikers ending, and it does continue off of how Persona 5 should be ended, in a way. Now there are different things. So even though Subi and Akechi don't show up here, Akechi has definitely gone into hiding, in my opinion. So it would make sense that he did show up here because he's hidden. He's trying to figure out his own path, but he can't necessarily be out in the open because there are people who may want him dead, or there are people who just they could say terrible things. It's really hard to earn back trust once you've broken it. So there's that. And then Subi was definitely one of the more busier ones because in her confidant, she had very specific dates that you had to meet with her. There is a little bit of forgiveness that I figured out from one set of data that I was trying to follow when I was doing her confidant in the Let's Play. But with following that, it's like she was a busy person, so it made sense that she wasn't in this game at all. But she was definitely probably welcome. Sui could also be someone that gets to come back more likely in the post-canon ending. So when everyone goes away and comes back, she does come back to the Thieves with not being so busy. She could meet Senkichi, and it would be interesting to see that type of thing. And I'm not sure if they'll meet Ichinose. Well, they can. Actually, they should, because Ichinose would probably have Sophia nagging to go see the Thieves again. It would be kind of her to do that if that was the thing, for sure.
Alright, everybody together. Let's finish this for good.
Let's.
Our work here is done.
Alrighty. That is a lot of experience and money.
Found.
Alright.
You're already
For
working
that,
on
we
it.
get the forbidden fruit.
Good job.
Alright. We go to the equipment. I don't know if it dropped anything specifically. I didn't see. Plus damage up for sure needed. I don't think it did. Last one, knocking on death's door.
You're accepting this request?
Oracle currently scared shitless. Oh, okay. OMG, there's something in the Okinawa jail. Its power is... Oh, could it be? Is it him? We have to defeat the Reaper, but we'll go ahead and try it in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys then.
Time to get to work.
I'll just add this.